episode 27 of Shack Together. Today is all about Doom, namely the Dark Ages, the upcoming game from Bethesda and id. We have exclusive previews from TJ Denzer, who just attended QuakeCon. He tells us all about his behind-the-scenes view on this upcoming game. After we discuss what we've been playing, we head over to our primary segment, Can It Run Doom? I give the crew a list of devices and ask them, can it run Doom? Play along at home and see how you do. It's a tricky one. Story time today includes Dragon Age the Veilguard release date, a preview of Splitgate 2 and the changes they made to the formula from the original release, Owlcat Games getting into publishing, Tango acquired by Krafton, a Sam and Max remaster. We have a review for that. Visions of Mana has a demo and a preview. Donovan gives us his take on that via the written word. 2 Point is back, this time with a museum. That announcement is here. And we have a preview and some impressions for Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. Seems like it's pretty good. Borderlands had a rough opening weekend and some sad news about a former YouTube CEO and her passing. We've got a review for Roto VR Explorer, a VR chair. You heard that right. And Asif gets into a ranty about AI. You know it, you love it. We do it right with the ranties. This one's no different. And that's the show. Thank you for being here, and we will kick it off right now. Here we go.
I was browsing Instagram the other day, and I follow a bunch of like meme accounts.
Sure.
And there's this one meme. It's like a video of Skeletor, and this guy's like, remember, and then he like says something, right? It's like random facts, and then he runs away and says, until we meet again, right?
Okay. Yep.
So I saw a meme of Skeletor this week, and it was that plastic is made from oil, and oil is made from dinosaurs. So plastic dinosaurs are made out of dinosaurs.
Ah, that's good.
And I was like, that's good, but I don't know if you remember a couple of, I don't know, it was quite a few episodes ago. We've made so many of these great episodes, right? High quality content where we talk about video games and tech and microplastics being in my balls.
Yeah.
So if this is true, this chain of logic is accurate. Plastic is made from oil. Oil is made from dinosaurs. My balls are full of microplastics. Does that mean my balls are full of dinosaurs?
Okay, let's see here. Now, full of implies that it's just there's an overwhelming
Teeming with?
Yeah, just teeming, overflowing.
So is it safer to say my balls contain dinosaurs?
It's safer, perhaps even just like flat out true. Yeah.
So my balls can. So it's plastic is made from oil. Oil is made from dinosaurs. My balls contain microplastics. Therefore, my balls contain dinosaurs.
Yes. And isn't that kind of like on the verge of just saying like, like I contain multitudes or whatever the saying is?
We're all chasing the singularity, but they might already be in my balls is all I'm saying.
This is a rabbit hole I was unprepared for.
That's a cold open for you. You're listening to Shack Together, a Shacknews video game podcast where if you're listening, you're togethering, and you probably have microplastics in your balls. I'm your host, Asif Khan, and today I'm not joined by my co-host, John Benjamin, because it's his birthday. And he's out there in the metaverse celebrating, probably. But I am joined by our producer, Joe Stasio.
Hello.
And senior news editor at Shacknews, which is a pretty important, that's half of Shacknews right there, news, almost half. TJ Denzer. Welcome, TJ.
Hey.
So we're bringing you on, because you had the pleasure of attending QuakeCon, right?
Yes.
So we're gonna talk about QuakeCon here, but I was also curious. We always ask this question: what have you been playing lately?
You know what? I wasn't playing Quake because there is no Quake at QuakeCon.
Wow.
But it was fun. And that aside, I jumped back into Jagged Alliance 3.
Okay.
I've been in a
Okay.
strategy mood because we're about to get the deep dive into Civ 7
Yeah.
this month, and I didn't realize how excited I am to have Civ back in my life until I saw that. And I don't feel like going back to Civ 6. I like it, but I'm done with it. So I jumped back into Jagged Alliance because there's like a bazillion characters that you can hire in that game to carry out your missions, and all of them have like a certain personality and approach to like the activity going on. And so like I played it through one time, and there's a lot of characters I didn't use. So I decided I was going to pick up the game and pick up a whole bunch of the characters that I didn't use on my first run.
That game has a ton of replay value in that sense, because just team composition, what you can do, probably levels that can be solved different ways too, right?
Mm-hmm. Like if you don't have an explosive expert right at the start of the game, there's a few sections that are just roll the dice and cross your fingers for good luck, because your squad is probably going to get blown up a couple times. But like that game is also just like a really good 80s action movie schlock version of XCOM.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious, like how much they riff off of just tropes of that era. You've got a dude in there that's like straight up dressed like Duke Nukem. His ability is that he punches people so hard that they will break objects behind them if he does it. And he's one of the only characters that can use like combat stems without any negative side effects.
Mm-hmm.
And I just love that kind of stuff where like everything throughout that game is usually a reference to something that has been either in gaming or movies in the past.
That's awesome.
I always had an interest in checking that out. Could you like succinctly describe why there was kind of middling reaction to the game, like overall? Because it sounds great and it looks great from the...
It's got that XCOM thing about it where like your character could be standing directly in front of somebody with a machine gun.
Yeah.
And they might miss every single shot.
Right.
So that's a bit of frustration. I think it's easily saved, but I think it's easily passed over by the fact that the game has a quick save, quick load system.
Yeah. Like a really good one.
Yeah.
Like a Desperado style.
Yeah.
Like that good? Because that's the best one.
Yeah, it is that. It is actually that good.
It's like
you press F5 and you've got to save right there. And then you press F9 and it'll take you back to that spot right away.
It's almost identical to the Desperados 3 save mechanic.
Cool.
That seems like a weird thing to complain about, given that mechanic exists. It is tough to beat, but it's not like, I don't know.
When the game first launched,
it's like experimenting as part of those games.
Yeah, and when the game first launched, I think it was buggier than it is now. They've had a lot of time to spruce it up and update it and make it than when it was on day one. So I would say that any problems that I experienced with it when I was at review are probably gone by now.
Mm.
Nice.
Cool. Anything else you've been playing?
I dipped my toes back into Guilty Gear, but I'm still kind of burnt out on fighting games from Evo, so
yeah, sure.
I'm taking a breather from the genre where I can for a bit just to play other things and go back through my backlog.
Huh.
That's about it.
Can we talk about Doom?
Yeah. So you didn't play it, but you got to see Doom the Dark Ages at QuakeCon, right?
I did. They had a secretive deep dive where they went into a lot of features that are going to be in the new game. Completely dark. People to turn their phones off, no recording. Similar to something they did with, I guess, Doom 2016 when they first revealed the deep dive gameplay into it. And also, I think, you mentioned they did it with Quake Champions at one point, too.
I saw a 5v5 match of Quake Champions before anyone else. It's something that they've been doing at QuakeCon keynotes for a really long time. So it's nice to see them bring it back, because like it does kind of create value for attending it, right? Like you got to see something that no one else on the internet got to see.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. And it harkens back to the old era of QuakeCon, even though it wasn't Quake that they were showing you. Although Doom the Dark Ages, it might as well take place in the Quake universe.
Yeah, we're going to castles and medieval horrors this time.
And there's a lot of browns and oranges in the world.
Yeah. And that deep dive was fun to watch too. I can't, like, obviously I didn't record anything of it, but we can talk about it because they gave me permission for that. And we're about to get like some of the coolest weapons I've ever seen in Doom. One of the things they showed during the deep dive is a new plasma gun that when you hit an enemy with it, it does a chain lightning effect to the enemies around it.
Ooh.
We got more looks at the shield saw, which we've seen that you can use it as like a Captain American shield, where you throw it through enemies and it'll come back to you.
Sure.
But there's a new bit that they showed during the deep dive where if you have a large like boss or mid-boss type enemy in front of you, like a Baron of Hell type, you can jam the saw into them while it's running and leave it in them to do tick damage over time while you're shooting them.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I love that shield so much, you guys. It's such a good weapon. Oh god.
We got a really big look at the two different kinds of like mount instances in the game. One of them is a giant mech.
Yeah.
And we're going to be using it to like punch the crap out of Icon of Sin sized enemies.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is a dragon with a minigun on its back. And we're going to be flying around maps and lighting enemies up, like doing strafing runs and also like strafing those big guys as well. It was impressive. I wasn't a fan of Doom Eternal. I thought it was not as good as Doom 2016 by a significant portion. It's not a bad game. It's just not as good as Doom 2016.
I think it did too much. It really... And I'm sure that this game is learning from Doom Eternal in some ways, but like the different ammo colors, the whole, this gun for this weakness, like the battle chest that they tried to create in Doom Eternal, I just don't think it landed with some people. The other part that didn't land, it was like so much platforming.
Yeah.
Which there were elements of platforming in Doom 2016, but it didn't have the verticality of Eternal. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where they missed. But it was also just so goddamn colorful. All the different ammo pickups were like purple, just everything. You know what I mean? It felt like it didn't feel like a Doom game at times. Obviously the settings were great. And I don't want to say anything about like the actual environments. Those were excellent. But this just feels like a Doom game.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting to, is that it feels like they're getting back to, let's not overcomplicate things. Let's give the player cool weapons and fun enemies to kill them with.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. I love everything I've seen so far.
Yeah, it looks amazing. The gun that I saw in the original trailer that just I was in was it's like a skull crushing like rifle. It's a grinder that grinds human skulls up and shoots the shards at enemies like machine gun style. Yeah.
It's their weapons are looking ridiculous every single time, and I love it.
Sweet.
Yeah. No, that sounds awesome. Jealous that you got to see that. Double-barreled plasma rifle sounds cool as hell.
Mm-hmm.
And that lightning effect you mentioned sounds pretty neat. I am interested in the size of the environments and like, because that mech you're talking about, it's like 3 stories tall. It's huge. It's like you're a walking building. So I'm really curious, like, how does this game scale, right? Because we've seen id Software, id Tech games, they're not like super linear. They make like arenas, right? But this feels vast. Yeah, like very vast. So no, I'm interested to see more. This was one of those where I was just like, I saw the stream end and I'm like, they're going to do that behind closed doors thing. And then TJ is in Slack, like they're doing the behind closed door thing. I'm like, I knew it.
Yep.
Because like Marty was looking around, I was like, is the stream are we done? And I was like, yep. They also did a couple of streams the next day where, Hugo was playing Doom 1+2. It was cool to see them talking Doom and playing Doom. But did they even say the word Quake at QuakeCon?
They did. They said QuakeCon several times.
Oh, okay.
Good joke.
But that's about it.
Man. You know how bad things are? They didn't even sell a QuakeCon hoodie online, dude. Like, I can't even buy a QuakeCon hoodie this year, which would be the first year that I won't do it in, like, I don't know, 10 years.
That's true, though. They only had it on site. It was like, I don't know why they would make that particular thing an on-site exclusive.
It also looked kind of crap. And I'll say last year's hoodie wasn't very good either. So I'm not, I don't know. It's like they're, also, we need to talk about, like, what the hell did they do to the QuakeCon logo, TJ? Like, what is that?
It looks like Clippy.
Like,
if he was a QuakeCon logo.
Joe, I have to show you this. You have to see what we're talking about.
This sounds like something I should see.
This is like, yeah, there he is. I say he. I don't know. It's a like, okay. I get the Quake logo flash and the peace sign. Like, that's fine. But because like peace, love, and rockets had been like an unofficial tagline of the event. But do you see it in general in our Discord?
Oh, I sure do. Sure do.
It gave it a little eyes and smiley face.
I kind of like how it's kind of silly. I'm not hating on this.
Okay.
I think it's conceptually backwards to have the QuakeCon symbol doing a peace sign.
But conceptually backwards is inarguable. The aesthetics don't bother me.
You like the eyes and the face?
Yeah, if John were on, he would echo the sentiment that he and I are craving the old approach to design from the 80s and 90s. It's like, yeah, just put eyes on it.
It definitely feels like they shoved Clippy into the QuakeCon logo.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. I guess it's kind of good that I'm not going to have a hoodie with that abomination on it, but at the same time, at least give me the option to buy it. I have quite a hoodie collection, and I'll say that I really liked the QuakeCon hoodies up until 2020 or 2021. Like, they had a QuakeCon from home one of those years, and it's like a green hoodie. It's still one of my favorites, but the zipper broke on it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a bummer. It was just like a black and orange hoodie. So I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of that. I did buy the Doom the Dog Ages t-shirt from Dallas Pets Alive.
This is pretty good, guys.
Huh?
That's good.
What is?
These merch concepts. I think I like the eyeballs on the logo. I like the dog ages.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh no, the Dallas Pets Alive stuff, I'm not talking smack about them at all. They did a great job. They do a great job every year. They did I think 3 shirts. One was like I can't remember. Was there like a what were the 3 shirts?
For Dallas Pets Alive?
Yeah, it was
Doom the Bark Ages. They had
the Bark Ages. That's right.
The Elder Scrolls Online, and then they had a Fallout 76 one.
But it was like Doom the Bark Ages. Let me see if I can find that. Of course, Google's like, you mean the Dark Ages? I'm like, no, I mean the Bark Ages. Here we go.
Yeah, he's got the shotgun and shield.
Copy image. There you go. Yeah, I got that shirt coming.
Yeah, that's good.
I'm excited for that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, the BitCon 24. Here we go. The cat one was for Fallout.
They have a cat one for Fallout and for Elder Scrolls Online.
But I guess my point is, where the hell's the Quake? Like, there's no love at all. Is Quake dead, you guys?
Well, is QuakeCon just BethesdaCon? Like,
it's turned into MicroCon at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, this year it was still technically pretty much DoomCon because Doom took up 90% of every presentation.
Yeah.
The BYOC is still very alive and well at QuakeCon, and I'm happy to see that. When I walked in there, when I walked into the convention center, like the spot outside of it, and saw the line that was just going for miles, that felt right. When I got into the hall and just saw all those lines of computers, all of everybody's setups, everybody's setting up their banners and their cases and their gimmicks and stuff, that felt right.
But it almost feels like 2 events now. It's like there's the fan BYOC. For the folks at home who don't know, that stands for Bring Your Own Computer. It's one of the largest LAN parties of the year internationally, but definitely in the United States. But like that has become so iconic that like other events are doing it. I think PAX has done it sometimes. DreamHack has one. But I would say that most people, they don't care what's going to be shown at QuakeCon. They go to QuakeCon just for the BYOC experience. And it's like you see friends just at that event, right? Yeah. So that community is still alive and well. And what I think is always cool about that is like you'll see tournaments just kind of pop off in the BYOC. Like random game, there'll be a tournament. There's a Rocket League tournament a few years ago. There was like I've seen fighting game tournaments happen at QuakeCon. Just ad hoc, right? Just random people, clan battles and stuff. Like all that stuff is still present there. So yeah, that part of QuakeCon will never die. And even if they do kill QuakeCon, there's it's called LAN All Night. Basically, the QuakeCon community has created a separate event that happens in October, I believe. It's like a smaller scale BYOC, but yeah, that is, as long as there's a giant ass QuakeCon BYOC, QuakeCon lives. But the game Quake is on, I don't even think it's fair to say life support. I don't know what it's on.
Stasis, I would say.
Yeah, it's frozen in carbonite. That's probably the best way to describe it. But and then when you see what they're doing with Doom, I'm like, there's no reason to reboot like a Quake single player, right? Because this is that, or this is a bigger scale than anything they've ever done, really. Yeah, I don't know. That's just a question I had when I was watching the coverage, watching what the stuff, the people that you were talking to, you know, the interviews that you got at QuakeCon. Not a whole lot of Quake being talked about at QuakeCon.
Yeah,
just strange. And yeah, to your point, Joe, it was like ZeniMax Con for a few years, and then it's slowly turning into MicroCon. Yeah. Because there was, not this year, I don't think, TJ, but like Minecraft has been a booth at QuakeCon before.
Yeah.
Were there booths?
They did have quite a few booths. Most of them were dedicated to like charity and computer parts. Mm-hmm. They had one where you could build your own lightsaber, and I wish I'd gotten a good look at that when folks were there. They didn't have anyone up there checking it out when I was there, but it looked cool. Like you actually got to choose the color, choose the handle, all that stuff.
What game was that for?
I think just random. I think
it just that's so weird.
And that is kind of a thing. Is like outside of the BYOC, it's kind of a carnival, and it's kind of a variety carnival. They have the charity stuff like Dallas Pets Alive. They have computer parts, which makes sense for a BYOC heavy show. They have Balls energy drink has like a large presence there because they've been a sponsor of QuakeCon for quite a while now.
Yeah, it's a meme too, but yeah, people love chugging balls at QuakeCon.
They had the speed run room, which I got to see some awesome Doom 2016 running in there.
Yeah, that was cool for sure.
They had the cat cafe, the Dallas Pets Alive Cat Cafe. Mm-hmm. Where if you wanted to just get away, you could line up for that, go in, just pet some kitties, and they had a boba tea shop and like pop-up shop in there.
I maintain that every video game convention should do this. There should be a cat cafe and like a dog park to hang out with and potentially adopt animals. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I looked into doing that at E3, and it was just like, it was going to cost a lot of money, basically, like everything at E3.
Yeah. They had a console, like kind of, there was a console room where you could play on like Xbox or a PlayStation, but they also had like resting chairs in there, which was kind of nice.
It felt like those were intended for people who brought their Switch with them or something. Because I was like, there's a lot of, I guess it's just a chill out spot. It's on the beanbag chairs.
Yep. And then right next door was the tabletop spot where they had a library where you could check out board games. And then folks were running D&D campaigns in there.
Just very strange that there wasn't a Quake tournament at QuakeCon. Like, that's...
There wasn't. It was unofficial. It was, like, entirely BYOC focused, where...
Yeah.
They kind of just left a lot of that stuff to the community to do for themselves.
You know, and it just seemed like there was a giant gaping hole somewhere upstairs where there could have been tacos and a tournament.
That's one of the things that felt the weird... I haven't been back to QuakeCon since 2018, and that was... a year before I worked for Shacknews. Mm-hmm. That was where I met a lot of you guys.
Yeah.
And it was surreal to not be there with y'all at QuakeCon, where like kind of my journey with Shacknews began.
We have this, it was like a satellite event that was never official called the Great Quake Holio Tournament. And yeah, it was awesome. We did some really cool stuff. In 2018, I think you witnessed, in my opinion, that was the best one, because we really executed some truly unique stuff. We did, I think it was a 3-person Doom 2016 speedrun score attack that was just electric, right? Like, watching people try to hit a high score and also beat the challenge that we laid out was cool. We also did that with Wolfenstein 3D. I think turning speedrunning into an esport is possible. Some people don't believe that. I think it's very possible, and we did it at QuakeCon several times. And then we also introduced the boss battle there, right? Where we would have, I think someone had to play David Craddock in Doom 2. Another person had to square off against me in Quake, and it was like I was being hunted. If you go back to last week's Shack Chat, you'll see some clips of me being hunted on my favorite Quake level. But yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, damn, we really did some cool stuff at QuakeCon, and it's like it would have been needed this year. And then I was sad to see that the taco place that we were working with had shut down. The one,
yeah, El Phoenix in Grandscape, or in Grapevine, anyways.
Yeah,
the original is still around because I'm like right up the road from it, actually.
Yeah,
but it was sad to not have El Phoenix at Grapevine.
Mm-hmm. Grand, you were surrounded by great barbecues. I'm sure you ate well.
I did have some good barbecue out there. I don't know if you saw the picture I took and posted, but it was a big old plate of brisket, sausage, and ribs.
Oh yeah, no, there's Texas barbecue, man, very good. So like, what was the favorite thing you saw or did while you were at QuakeCon?
I was sitting around waiting for the first day keynote to begin, and I had been up since 6 o'clock in the morning getting ready for this, and I'd gone to sleep at 2 a.m. the night before, like getting prepped for what kind of coverage I was going to do. So, like, I was tired by the time that 3 o'clock p.m. rolled around, and I was kind of sitting in the chair in the stage area, just kind of thinking, well, when the keynote starts, it'll wake me up. And then somebody, I like hear, as I'm dozing off, I hear somebody go, "Hey, I remember you. It's been a bit." And the creative director of Fallout 76 walks up to me with his kid and says hello. And I'm just like, "I'm here. I'm awake. I'm fine." And we got to talking for a bit, and I was just like, "You want to do an interview over what you're doing this weekend?" Because they had stuff to show as well. And he was like, "Sure." And that was kind of just the funniest thing that happened, just because, like, I'm happy to see that we've been working hard enough that people just recognize us in the field now.
Yeah. Oh, no, for sure. And also, like, specifically at id Software and now at, like, Bethesda largely, they read our site. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just that they know us or whatever, but, like, they actually consume our content. And when it comes to Fallout 76, we're an outlet that still covers their game pretty intensely. A lot of our larger competitors, like when a live service game isn't as popular as Fortnite, they just kind of gloss over it. But especially on the back of what's happened with the Fallout on Amazon series, like, yeah, it's been a kind of a resurgence for 76 in a lot of ways. And that game is like in such a better condition now than it was when it launched. So it's like kind of had a No Man's Sky sort of a path. But that's cool. Yeah, it is wild. And I heard you ran into Fleabug too. Shacker ran into you.
I did. I ran into Fleabug, and I ran into a few people that, like, when they heard I worked with Shacknews, they remembered Quakeholio. They missed Quakeholio.
Yeah, maybe we'll return.
And like that instance of an interview happened actually twice, because then I ran into the guys from DNF 2001 Restoration Project.
Yeah,
and we worked with them on Shacknews E4 remake this year. And they were
they were at E7 last year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all good. Yeah, they were at E7 last year, but they were like a headliner at E7.
Yeah.
And no, they're doing really cool stuff. So like instead of having booth, it seemed like a lot of these like smaller firms just straight up bought BYOC spots, right?
That's true. The DNF guys had it. Night Dive just bought BYOC tickets, and they were operating their stuff from on the floor.
That's really cool, because like that's like, was there someone there 24 hours a day, or did they like work in shifts, or how did that work? Like,
I think it's just kind of they used the space as they needed it, and invited people to come by and say hello.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, we kicked around that idea of doing our tournament from the show floor instead of upstairs. But the problem we ran into was securing bandwidth to stream. It's the BYOC gives you plenty of download speed, but the upload is not there, and they can't just drop internet there because it's like a huge LAN.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe someday. Maybe if they make a new Quake.
It was a fun event to be at in person. Like I think online we can. It's fair to be jaded about it because it's not. There's no Quake at QuakeCon anymore. Mm-hmm. But when you're out there on the BYOC floor, when you're out there with the community and the people that have been going there for 10, 20, 30 years, it feels like good vibes all around you.
Yeah, and like speaking of Night Dive, I saw Steven Kick was rocking the QuakeCon hockey jersey one day. I was just like, yeah, it's when you're there you feel it because there's people playing Quake on the BYOC floor. Even I saw that like Quake Champions did have an in-game cosmetic that was like a QuakeCon skin for your guns, so that was kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, it's yeah, it felt like it was lacking a tournament this year, but you know, maybe next year. We'll see. That's cool.
Yep.
Very cool. So yeah, Joe.
Hey.
What have you been playing lately?
I'm back on the Final Fantasy bandwagon myself. I don't know why. Yes, I do. I have a little more time in my life as of last week. And I don't know. There's something actually, like all the things that I complained about are still true, and it's just almost like, oh, but this is like a good little brain scratch, or maybe I mean lack thereof, because it's just kind of a
it's more like you can shut your brain off and just kind of play.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So that's nice, and I've resolved to finish it. And I think there was a little piece of dialogue I encountered last night. It was some side quest. And there's a very strange, surprising, it just occurred to me as a strangely written thing, where one of the NPCs said, "You are only going to have to do this one more time." Oh, it's like it was one of the Moogle. If you've played the game, you know what I mean, like the little Moogle dens.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Oh, there's only one more of these in the whole game," which indicates there's only one more open world in the whole game.
Oh.
To which I said, "Thank God, I can finish this." Because there's like, you know, huge open world sections with a giant checklist. And I guess I'm pretty close, apparently, thanks to this Moogle's information. So I'm going to decide to stick with it, and I will update the pod when I've gotten there. And who knows, maybe I'll have softened on how I feel about it.
Seems like you already are, man.
Yeah, like I said, I am admitting that I didn't really understand how much my personal situation and sort of like lack of free time. Yeah, and like how that colored. Yeah, like I feel like the game does waste the player's time.
Sure.
And now I'm just like, I have a little more of it to spare. So it's like,
so you're less annoyed by it wasting your time.
Yeah, but it is officially still a criticism. Like, I would prefer, even now, that it was a tighter experience, but...
I apparently triggered Siri by saying, you know,
I have one... That's the only game I'm playing, and I've done quite a bit of it, but I have one quick Siri complaint that I think you'll appreciate.
Sure.
I really only use Siri for one reason.
Okay.
And I'll be listening to a podcast or something, and I'll have some random reason to call my wife, and I will say, I don't want to say it because it might happen, but I'll say, "Hey Alexa, insert real word, call Erica." That's what I say. And Siri replies, "Okay, sure. Who?" And this is where someone is screaming at their car stereo and saying, "Joe, they're just trying to get you to specify the Erica." To which I say, "That's not true."
There's only
because
one Erica
all I say in reply is Erica, and then they call my wife, as in I don't specify an Erica. I don't even think I have another Erica.
No.
Even if I did have another Erica, I'm always calling the same Erica.
Yeah. You're going to be calling your wife more than the other Erica in your phone. And there's no other Erica. Come on, what are we talking about?
Well, you know, I don't know if I have some business contact.
I just
Erica,
I checked the ticker. No other Erica in your phone.
Why is that on the ticker?
I don't know. I don't know if you heard, all of our social security numbers were leaked too.
Why? Well, thank goodness it's on a dot matrix printer that only I see, I think. So we're okay.
And it's in Braille today for some reason. I don't know.
Oh,
CrowdStrike.
Just blame them. Whatever.
Just gonna blame them for it.
That's my series story. So, Asif, what are you playing?
So I've been told that I only play F-Zero 99 by
By who?
listeners of the podcast.
Oh.
So I actually was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a new game that's on the Shacknews must play list because I heard it's awesome. TJ reviewed it for Shacknews and had very glowing things to say. I was also listening to the Kit and Krista podcast or just watching their channel. They did a cool little video where they were like showing off 5 different indie games that they liked, and this was one of them. So I got like some gameplay of it, and I was like, oh, I got to play this game.
Mhm.
Thank goodness you're here.
Yep.
It's awesome. I love it. It's like you're playing a cartoon. It's like an interactive cartoon.
It really is. It hit me like a Monty Python sketch that you play from top to bottom.
Sure. And I think you referenced Ren and Stimpy previously too, but like, yeah, it's like, or maybe that was Kit and Krista that mentioned Ren and Stimpy, but it does have like Ren and Stimpy style humor in it, where it's like a little adult, right?
Mhm.
It's not a kid's cartoon. It looks like a kid's cartoon, but it is not. So I really like the intricacy of the puzzle design in it, how the different people interact with each other. I think you know how you can like, there's not like, you're in this little town, right? But you'll go into a pub and you'll do something, and then that changes what's happening in the outside world when you leave the pub. So there's the way that they handle progression in it is very cool. It's natural. It's not like, oh, I'm on a new level. No, you're still in the same town, but the things going on in the town change as you solve puzzles. And of course, everyone's like, oh, thank goodness you're here. But yeah, it's great.
Cool.
I really can't stress how fun it is. So yeah, I'm a big fan of that. I had guests here last week, and you know, they had 2 young daughters, so I was kind of showing them different video games all weekend. And Suika Game was one of those, so I got to play a little bit more Suika Game.
Is that the version that's on the Switch now?
Yeah, and I got their dad to buy them Suika Game on their Switch for 420 yen. So they have multiplayer now. It was really funny though. I didn't show them the multiplayer because the young one, the 5-year-old, like hates losing at anything.
Mm-hmm.
And they were probably staying up a little later than normal at Uncle Asif's house. So like this 5-year-old, it's probably like 9 p.m., right? Which is the witching hour, you know, Joe. I'm sure for your kids too.
Yeah.
Your kids, I think it's like 7. I don't know when your bedtime is for them.
Well, the witching hour is indeed 9.
9.
But we go to bed earlier
right?
than the witching hour.
If you make it to 9 with a 5-year-old, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So it's 9 p.m. She's playing Monkey Ball, and she's picked a very difficult level, which is hilarious. It's like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. And she gets so frustrated, she just holds it forward and keeps just running off the level. And we're like, hey, you can like turn. She's like, no. So that was funny watching them play Monkey Ball and Suika Game. But the 5-year-old like absolutely loves Suika Game and was like very good at it within like maybe a couple of plays. So I thought that was neat to see. Like, it's such it becomes a complicated game, right? But I watched the 10-year-old get a watermelon and on like the first day she ever played the game. So I thought that was pretty neat. And then yeah, we played more Nintendo World Championships together. I maintain that Donkey Kong is still very hard. I'm on the Master Challenge for it now, where you have to beat the first 3 levels of Donkey Kong. That's harder than it sounds.
That does sound difficult.
And you can, I don't think that, you know, it has a rewind function and everything, but every time I rewind, I just quit out. So you can quit out by hitting both triggers together. But I want to just let you know that, man, it's really frustrating when you get all the way to the 3rd level and you do that, you know, because it's like you've been playing for 10 minutes and then you do that and you're like, I maybe should have just taken the rewind. But just out of my reflexes, I've been hitting the double triggers to reset, you know, 7-second challenges or 30-second challenges. It's not that big of a deal. But when I quit out of a 10-minute challenge, I'm like, what the hell?
Yep. I remember that happening in like Trials or what was that other Ubisoft game? The stunt track one, where like even when I did what they were asking me to do and I felt like I had a good run, the muscle memory to restart was there. It's like like absolutely like sabotaging myself.
Yeah. You really are. Okay, so no, you feel my pain. I've done that a couple of times on this 10-minute challenge, and it's been frustrating. But Donkey Kong's great. I'm going back now because I haven't unlocked all 155 or 150 challenges yet. So I'm going back to get more points by like getting S ratings or A++ ratings or whatever. So I went back and I'm playing like some of the 8-bit Mario games again, or I'm playing a little bit more of Excite Bike. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the Nintendo World Championship still. I'm not playing it online, like at all. I'm just playing the single player speedrun version because I'm enjoying just competing with myself.
Yeah.
But I will make my way over to online once I unlock all of the different challenges. But I'm getting to the hard part for sure. There's a Kid Icarus challenge that's very difficult. There's that Donkey Kong one I mentioned. I think I beat Balloon Fight, like all of them. Balloon Fight's tough though. I really like the single player for Balloon Fight where you have to like go through the maze, like a level with like stuff. But yeah, it's great.
I had also started Nintendo World Championships, and I've played a few of them, but like I've mostly been focusing on the Kid Icarus levels because I love that game. It's one of my favorite classic Nintendo games.
You know who else loves that game? Mario from the Mario movie. When he was feeling down, what did he go to? He went to Kid Icarus of all things.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know.
I remember you also saying that those levels are hard, and I agree because I completely forgot that that's one of those Nintendo games where like the jump arc depends on where you release the button.
Yeah.
And so it like makes things a little bit, and it's such a floaty jump to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So getting that correct drop to cut like hundredths of a second off makes getting the S on some of those levels really hard.
Yeah, I think Kid Icarus is one of the toughest final, like the master mode or whatever. It's definitely one of the hardest challenges in the game. Mm-hmm. It's great though. Make a new Kid Icarus game and make a new Ice Climber game, or just please. Like, dude, Ice Climber's great. Ice Climber's a great game. I don't know what they're doing. Make a new one. Also, like that could be a mobile game. That could actually be a mobile game that would work. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious what they do. Nintendo didn't make this game by accident. They're gonna look at the analytics of what games are being played and stuff, right? But yeah, it's cool. I said it before and I'll say it again. That's a game that would have had an awesome E3 booth. It would have been amazing.
Yes. Complete a challenge, get a like that.
Yeah, right. The pins are already built into the game. It would have made people get back in line, right? Which Nintendo loves when you like finish a demo and you get right back in line to play it again. I could have seen stuff like that happening. Mm-hmm. I took a week off of playing college football because I won the national title game, and I'm coming to grips with the fact that like I have no control over the recruiting of my team, and also my Heisman winner has graduated and gone on to the NFL. So I'm a quarterback who has improved, but I'm like, do I really want to go through a second season with this team? I'm not sure. And that speaks to the trepidation I had before launch, where they didn't include the ability to create a team of 400 pounds, 7 feet tall refrigerator men who are mutants. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'll go back to it or not. Madden came out this week. It officially comes out, I think, at midnight tonight. So there's like $100 version. You could have had early access for 3 days. So I will be helping Donovan cover that for review at Shacknews. I'm not reviewing it, but I will be playing it. We're going to stream it on Friday. But no, I decided to take a break from college football this week.
Will you import your Heisman winner into Madden?
Well, that's the problem. I wasn't controlling that guy. He was my running back. I'm the quarterback.
I see. Well, you
so
import
I can't even do that.
Quarterback, I mean.
That's the thing. I would have to play long enough for my quarterback to graduate. So at least another 2 seasons. And we're talking like 17 games if I win the national title. I don't know. We'll see. I think what's going to happen, just historically based on what I like, I'm going to play Madden this week, and I'm going to have to play college football to wash the taste of Madden out of my mouth. Because Madden is a bad football game, and college football, it has its issues, but it's really fun, and I'm enjoying it still. So the plan was for Donovan and I to stream college football multiplayer on Friday, but then I got a key from EA, and I was like, fine, I guess we'll play Madden. But yeah, Gun to my head, I'm choosing college football every time. And then, yeah, this may surprise some people. I play a little F-Zero 99 this week. Not a whole lot.
Come on. Come on.
I know. No, I know. That's surprising. Still my favorite game. I got like some first place, not finishes, but like I was in first place for like a lap or two during a couple races. But I've kind of gone back to that other side where like it's such a delicate balance, you guys. To be first, you have to take a lot of risk in that game. And by definition, when you're taking risks like that, you can die. And I'm dying a lot on like the last lap or the last turn of the last lap kind of stuff, which is frustrating. But yeah.
Do you suspect that you're in like the top 1,000 ish? I think you said.
Depends on the week. I'm not right. I was in the top 10,000 last week because I didn't play as much. But I'm currently ranked S4. So yeah, I'm very high up there.
So if you wanted to be like top 500, do you think that those folks are just mainlining F-Zero? Like they probably don't dabble in college football, etc.?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think there's people who only play F-Zero 99.
And that doesn't sound fun. That might take the magic out of it.
I can tell you over winter break, I was one of those people and it was fun.
Never mind.
So but like, it's my favorite video game. So it's like, hey, yeah. you like playing your favorite? Like, that's weird. But like, I think it's the way that I was playing it, where I just played F-Zero 99 mode, that can burn you out. But the way I'm currently playing it, where I'm just playing that middle mode, which sometimes it's team, sometimes it's pro track, sometimes it's mini pre, sometimes it's classic mode, sometimes it's classic mini pre, sometimes it's Grand Prix. There's a lot of variety to playing it that way, that I don't feel that I'm going to burn myself out doing that. And I also don't, I think like, it's like Rocket League, right? Like you can play Rocket League for 30 minutes a day and you're not going to burn yourself out, or you can play it for like 4 hours a day and you're going to hate your life by the end of the year.
Sure.
I think F-Zero 99 is similar to that, but also like, I think back to when I was in college and like somebody was always playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 on my Dreamcast. Like just at any given time of day, someone would be playing it, right? Yeah. So I imagine there's a college dorm out there where people are playing F-Zero 99 like it's their job and probably failing at school.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So those guys, that top 500 that you're talking about, I don't know if I'll ever crack it because I'm an adult. I have shit to do.
Yeah, business owner.
But I really wish I could. It's one of these things where like this game came out at a time in my life where I'm like old. And I'm like, man, if this was like, if I was 20 years younger, I'm probably in the top 100, you know? So it's a thought that's crossed my mind, but
sure.
Yeah, it's still great. I highly recommend it. And anyone who questions my love of that game, I will fist fight you in the street.
Good to know.
Speaking of fist fighting in the street, I think we have a pretty sweet segment coming up, right?
We do. It's going to be a battle to the doom death.
Ooh.
So you're going to want to stick around.
Sounds good.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Hey, welcome to Can It Run Doom? This is everybody's favorite segment where I give you a device and you tell me, can it run Doom? You buzz in with your name, Asif or TJ. It's going to be a one-on-one battle because Birthday Boy's stuck in the metaverse. So when I name a device, you decide in your head if it can run Doom. And I don't mean can it. I really actually mean has it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there evidence? So each of the devices that I've logged as a yes, I have a source for. As in I have evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been charged with this task. And if there are no questions, we can kick it off. We good?
So I ring in by saying Asif and TJ runs in by saying TJ.
That's exactly right.
Okay. Just making sure.
Here we go. I got a bunch, so I'm going to go as fast as I can here.
Okay.
A Lego brick. Can that run Doom?
Asif. No.
Incorrect.
I guess TJ can't ring in.
I mean, like, is that a case where you could just be like, TJ, yes?
No.
No point. No point to either contestant.
Is it through Lego Mario? I bet it's through Lego Mario.
We can circle back at the end.
Okay.
As I don't want to give any hints along the way, if you catch my drift.
Okay.
How about a refrigerator, guys? Can a refrigerator run Doom?
TJ.
I rang in first. TJ said yes. I said awesome.
Asif did ring in.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, smart fridges. I've seen that.
I jeopardied myself.
He did.
How about a Nintendo DS? Can that run Doom?
Awesome.
Ooh, I
Yeah.
think Asif got you.
TJ had it.
I heard Asif.
Okay. Yes.
That's correct. That's correct.
My
Unofficially,
buzzer's broken. My buzzer's broken.
You got to jump on this. Can Doom run Doom?
TJ.
TJ.
No.
Incorrect. We have evidence of Doom running inside of Doom.
Is it Doom 2016?
No. It's original Doom running like on a wall inside of Doom.
Okay. That's hilarious.
It's a Doom. What's the film? The Nolan film.
Doom. The Rock?
No, the Christopher Nolan movie with Leonardo DiCaprio.
What?
And the spinning top. I forget the name of it, but that's what it is.
Inception.
In Doom Inception. There you go.
I was so confused. I was like, I thought you were implying that Christopher Nolan directed The Rock in the Doom movie, and I was okay. Sorry.
Can Doom run on an iPod? Original iPod.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Can Doom run on a Kindle Paperweight?
Awesome. Yes.
Yes.
Are there any no's in here?
I don't think
Can
so.
Doom run on an Apple Watch?
Awesome.
TJ.
I heard Asif.
I'm gonna say no.
Incorrect.
Damn. Can run on everything.
Can Doom run on a TI Inspire series, which I believe is a graphing calculator?
TJ.
TJ.
I want to say no because one of these has to be no.
Do you want to say no, or are you saying no?
I'm saying no.
Incorrect. Have we gotten Doom to run on a pregnancy test?
Awesome.
Asif.
Yes.
Correct. Guys, can Doom run on a Porsche?
TJ.
TJ. Yeah.
TJ.
Yeah, why not?
Yep. Are we able to get Doom running on a thermostat, though?
Awesome.
Asif.
Yes.
Yes. How about a microwave?
Awesome.
TJ.
Awesome.
Yes.
Yes. But what about my treadmill with that fancy screen?
Awesome. Yes.
Awesome. Correct. Well, certainly we can't have Doom running on Persona 5.
Awesome.
Asif.
Yes.
Yes. We have video evidence of Doom running inside of Persona 5 Royal.
That just makes the game even better.
All right. What about when my lovely wife and I were getting some good news at the OBGYN about our forthcoming child? On the ultrasound scanner, can I play Doom?
TJ.
TJ.
Yes.
Yes. What about that superfluous and frankly useless touchpad above the keyboard on 2018 MacBooks?
Awesome. I own one of these. Yes.
That's correct. You can play Doom on the touchpad.
God, what a worthless Apple thing.
Smart toaster. Can I play it on my smart toaster? TJ.
Yes.
Correct. All right. It's Saturday morning. It's piping hot outside, and I've got a full lawn to take care of. But before I dive into the grass, I'm going to do a couple levels of Doom on my lawnmower. Is that possible?
Awesome. Yes.
Awesome. That's correct. You can.
Riding
you can
lawnmower, probably, right?
I will check the source and get back to you. All right. Play chopsticks. You know what? I'm getting bored of this. I'm going to play a little bit of Doom on my piano. Is that possible?
TJ.
TJ.
Yeah, if it's like a digital keyboard.
Yeah, we've got the evidence. You could play Doom on a piano. All right, snap a few shots. It's a wedding. I'm working a wedding. I'm a wedding photographer. But what they don't know is after that ceremony, I'm in the back room playing Doom on my camera.
Awesome. Yes.
Awesome. Correct. All right. I'm heading into New York City. I'm seeing a show on Broadway. But before that, I've got to put my Toyota on the street somewhere, and it's going to cost me a couple quarters to do so. But while I'm thumbing those quarters into that thing on the side of the street, can I also play Doom on it? A parking kiosk.
Yes.
Yes.
The parking meter?
Yep.
Yeah.
Brushing my teeth. This is boring. Who cares about dental hygiene? I just want to play Doom on this thing. A toothbrush? Is that possible, Asif? Yes. Yeah, that's possible.
I've seen the toothbrush and the parking meter. Like, I've actually seen that on the internet.
What about on a Samsung all-in-one washing machine? TJ.
Yes.
All right. Very good. Guys, I have one more. Can a human man or woman or anything in between play Doom?
Like on themselves?
Can a human body play Doom? Is the question.
Asif. Yes?
That is correct.
Well,
let me just pull this up.
were there any no's?
There were no
There
no's.
was 0 no's.
There were 0 no's. As per the last example,
I had to have won. I won, right?
Oh, by a landslide. Yeah, you were better at calling in.
My buzzer. Both of our names are 2 syllables, so it's not like I had an advantage there. TJ's only got 2 letters.
I was just dumbfounded by the fact that
Everything was a yes.
There was not a single no in that entire run.
That's wild.
So, as far as that last example, we have Doom running on gut bacteria. So,
what?
Gut bacteria is able to power a single frame of Doom every 8 hours. So, it's not like a great way to play it.
No, clearly not.
But on a technicality is possible.
Where is it displaying it?
Let's see. A scientist has gotten Doom to display on a simulated coliform bacteria. So on the bacteria.
So the bacteria is not just powering it; it's also the display.
Yes, it's a
So you have to have a microscope to even play this 1 frame every 8 hours.
That
is ridiculous.
That's worse than Switch performance.
Notable mention was also that there were many. Like, for example, Fortnite. You can play Doom inside of Fortnite. There was lots of Minecraft, etc. There's lots of examples of people.
I was expecting more of that, like games where you could play it in, or I don't know, video game devices.
That
was impressive. I want to shout out. I don't know if David has announced this yet or not, but I think David Craddock is actually working on a book that is literally about this topic.
Wow.
Yeah.
I assume he'll consult me after the segment. Yeah,
he definitely should, because you did some research here. He might not have known about some of these, but I've actually gotten in the habit when I see a new story like this, I just send it to David and I'm like, hey dude, I don't know if you saw this or not.
Well, with a score of 15-5, Asif takes the crown in Can It Run Doom.
Hell
so
yeah.
Congratulations.
I did it. A convincing win.
Yeah, TJ, we gotta maybe stay after like recording's over and we'll talk about fixing your buzzer.
Like I said, no syllable advantage, and if we're talking letters, TJ had the advantage over me, but we're not spelling our names, I guess. But
well, that would be a fun one. Spell your
name.
Joseph.
No, you just go with the 3 letters.
Yeah, I should. That would have been smarter. Oh well. So that's gonna do it. We're gonna head over to story time. Asif, the floor is yours.
Yeah, we'll be right back with story time, so stay tuned. Welcome to Storytime. Let's dive into the latest stories from the past week. Dragon Age: The Veilguard has a Halloween release date. It got leaked last night when a snippet of the trailer appeared online. This kind of reminds me of, you remember how earlier in the year we were talking about Nintendo trying to stomp out leaks? One of the things that came out of their investigation of, the Tears of the Kingdom leak and the Mario Wonder leak and the Pikmin leaks and all those things from last year was that someone at YouTube who works there was able to view unlisted videos or private videos.
Right.
And I think that might have been what happened here, because the trailer was sitting on YouTube. They had they even dropped the link to it. They said, here's where the video will be. It's like one of those YouTube premiere kind of things, where you can let your followers and your subscribers know ahead of time, here's where the video will be. So when you do that, you kind of give YouTube employees a good idea, hey, this is where it's going to be. And there is like a black market now in selling this kind of information. So I think that might have been what happened over the night. So it did get leaked last night, but it did get officially announced here on Thursday. Halloween is when the Veilguard will be out. And I noticed you're not playing Inquisition anymore, Joe.
I in the past 7 days since the last recording, I have not. I just don't think it's very good.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means for if you'll play the Veilguard, but it's coming.
Well, see, I can't even trust reviews, right? Like I mean, yeah, Inquisition was a critical darling.
Game of the
So,
year at Shacknews in 2014.
Yeah,
And you
Yeah.
hate it. And you hate it.
I do. Open
So-
world is a bad genre, so we'll see.
Except Zelda games.
Except Zelda games. I agree with that.
And Elden Ring.
Sure.
So Ozzy got hands-on with the Splitgate 2 alpha, and he said it challenges you to think even faster with portals. Did you play Splitgate?
I-
too?
Played the heck out of the first one. I like the gimmick in it, and I like the speed of the combat. It was a better Halo than Halo for a while there.
It's Halo with portals.
Uh-huh.
Best way I could describe it. I don't like some of the things they're doing in Splitgate 2. They're creating a hero mechanic sort of thing where there's different classes.
Yeah,
So
I'm not crazy about that either.
I'm like, I don't want to be a tank. I don't want to have to worry about support. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't Team Fortress, but they're definitely going that route. It's definitely trying to kind of glob onto what Overwatch did right and what Valorant is doing right and what, other hero shooters have attempted to do. I don't
They
think
had something special. Like they were really good at making just a proper arena shooter. In a time where we don't have many of those anymore, we're just talking long and extensively about how there's no Quake at QuakeCon.
Mm-hmm.
You were supposed to bring balance to the Force Splitgate.
Yeah.
Why are you becoming a hero shooter now?
Yeah. I think it's the funding they got. But yeah, it's also like that mechanic, it lent itself to such innovative level design that I thought that was enough. I never understood why they killed the first Splitgate. Apparently it was a scale issue and it was like a tick rate issue or something, but like they could have just fixed, they could have had better netcode and I would have been fine with what the same exact stuff. Like them adding these different modes, okay, fine. Modes are fine. But like shoehorning in the hero mechanic, like I think this is going to be a miss for that reason. Because the other thing I think it just doesn't look. It falls into the same trap that Lawbreakers did, where like Lawbreakers was a hero shooter, but you couldn't tell the difference between any of the characters, like at all. And that's why Overwatch succeeded, right? Those are very strikingly different characters. Where you're a Mercy, you're playing with Mercy, or I don't know who the hell's that, Reaper? Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
From what I saw, it's the same generic looking Splitgate characters, just with different powers. And I think maybe it's just because it's the alpha. Maybe they'll give it a little more attitude then. But I don't think it's
Real bummer.
I think the thing that draws people to hero shooters are the different looking and different playing characters. I don't like any of that. So this is just like annoying to me that they're doing any of it. But I did. I clipped Ozzy doing a pretty sweet portal jump. So like that's still there. The concept of portal momentum where you can like jump, shoot down into a portal and like put your exit somewhere else and it'll shoot you across the level kind of thing. That's still the best part of this game, or the actual physics engine and or the mechanics that they've implemented to really, I don't know.
I think the thing that bugs me the most about it being a hero shooter is that a hero shooter is... Most hero shooters are defined by the characters themselves, and once you get that meta shaken up, like settled, those characters are the only ones that anyone plays. And to that point, like I thought I liked Splitgate better as this game where like pathing and aim and reflex and twitchy reflexes mattered more than just like picking the most important whatever is happening in that game.
Yeah, team composition is not something I care about. So yeah, I kind of agree with you there. And yeah, it was fun. It was fun already. They like didn't have to do this. It speaks to like a boardroom decision, right? Because they got like funding and they're like, hey, the hero shooter, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's probably some pie chart involved. But it's an alpha. They still have time. This game doesn't come out this year. It comes out in 2025. So I'm not judging it, but I'm judging it.
I mean, I hope they do well. I've always liked what 1047 Games is doing, and I'm happy to see that the portal mechanics are like they're still refining them and making them even better than they were. But dang.
It's cool to, set up a portal and not go through it, but like shoot through it. Like there's just so many cool mechanics that were created by it that I don't think they needed to. they were unique. They didn't need to copy anyone. They had a very unique game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's strange. And they had a game that I enjoyed playing more than Halo Infinite. So there's that. So anyone with the Shack Together bingo card, I did just shit on Microsoft, so you can check that box off.
Is it a
Here's some
bingo
good
card or
news.
a drinking game?
I don't know. It's probably a combination.
Okay.
Maybe it involves edibles too. Who knows?
Right.
Teach their own. Here's some good news. How about this? I have good news for you, Joe.
Thank
Good
you.
news about the video game space in 2024.
Yep.
Developer Owlcat Games, who have made Pathfinder and some of the Warhammer games,
Right.
they have announced plans to enter the publishing space. And they've already, I think they've signed like 2 games already.
Yeah.
That's cool. They're working
That is.
with Emotion Spark Studio and out of Serbia, and a Polish studio called Another Angle Games. They're both working on narrative-based RPGs. And Owlcat most recently developed Warhammer 40K, the Rogue Trader game.
Okay.
Pretty exciting.
Yeah. It's uncommon, right? To see in this era anybody sort of like take a risk right now or like expand right now.
Yeah.
So it's heartening.
I absolutely loved Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. I would
Mhm.
say to anyone who loved Baldur's Gate 3, if you want another game to play after Baldur's Gate 3, you should go look at Wrath of the Righteous, because it is an awesome turn-based strategy game.
I
Or
feel like
turn-based RPG.
It won. Didn't it win Best RPG at Shacknews the year it came out?
It did. I fought hard for that.
Yeah.
I loved that game.
Yeah. So no, it's cool to see that they've succeeded as developers. This seems like a calculated risk that they're taking. And yeah, good for them. What if I
It's
told you I had more good news, Joe?
I wouldn't believe it.
I know, right? But guess this. And I get to shit on Microsoft in this upcoming quickie. Which is still trademarked. Tango Gameworks and Hi-Fi Rush IP has been acquired by Krafton, the publishers of PUBG.
Yes.
I love Hi-Fi Rush.
Sure.
And I love Tango Gameworks. But it's a little bittersweet because this didn't have to. Why did they have to shut them down? They could have just sold them to Krafton.
Yeah.
Right.
Why shut them down? Why put all these people through hell? The people working at Tango. That's unfortunate. That
You mentioned something on our call, I think, the other day,
Mhm.
that with the scenario that did happen, Microsoft gets there's some tax incentive for doing it the way it
Sure.
did happen. Isn't that right?
Yeah, they get to take a write down on their investment in ZeniMax Japan.
Right.
But then they sold this. So
It implies the tax incentive is greater than the price they could get.
I guess that's true. Cause like it's not just what's weird is they got rid of their entire publishing arm in Japan for ZeniMax. So Fallout 76 had like a player base over there, Grounded is over there and stuff like so yeah, I don't know. Microsoft is a black box when it comes to the Xbox profit and loss, so we'll never know what the net effect of this will be. But shout out to Krafton for saving a studio, although it might not be the same people, but definitely saving the IP. And I hope that that's where the people come back, because Hi-Fi Rush had outstanding art, and I think those artists should come back if there's going to be another Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah. I feel like it's a pretty slim chance of every single person making it back after that.
Yeah.
Which sucks in of itself. I'm also a touch nervous about it being in Krafton's hands.
I know. But you know what? It's better than it being in Microsoft's hands.
Right. I
dead.
like, ultimately I arrived at the idea, like, I would rather they were here and around and active than just gone like they were before. But like Krafton, there's been back and forth as to whether or not Krafton did striking distance dirty with Callisto Protocol. Conversations coming out about Glenn Schofield saying that it was Krafton's executives saying they needed to get the game done fast in order to meet a quarterly deadline. And who's to say whether or not that's all Krafton's fault or whether it was just mismanaged by striking distance, but it does give me cause for caution. I hope mostly I just hope that Krafton lets Tango cook.
But like, who's left at Tango to cook, I guess, is the real question.
Yeah.
That's the other side that I'm kind of concerned about. Yeah. But these are quickies. We'll move on. But how about that, Joe? 2 good gaming news stories back to back.
I hope the tide is turning, Asif.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah.
So Lucas White reviewed Sam & Max The Devil's Playhouse Remastered, and said that it truly feels like the end of an era for the freelance police. I want to read this blurb, or it's a paragraph from the review regarding the end of the franchise, or at least what feels like the end. But that road always had an end. These are re-releases. Yeah, they didn't really make like a new one outside of the VR game, I think. And The Devil's Playhouse is the last one to be remade. Sam & Max was always a scrappy outside-the-box IP that has endured in spite of its apparent unmarketability. A single LucasArts Golden Age cult classic and a canned sequel, a short cartoon series that barely lasted a lone season, a perpetually out-of-print comic strip series. The Telltale series itself was a revival nobody saw coming at the time. Here we are once again saying goodbye to the most wholesome pair of violent sociopaths to ever do it. And this goodbye somehow hits harder the second time around. And that really resonated with a lot of the fans of the series. This kind of exploded on Twitter, which is rare for a Shacknews tweet to do that, because Elon Musk hates us. But yeah, it appears to be a very great send-off to this game, very well made. I got a 9 out of 10 here at Shacknews, which breaks the trend of a bunch of 8s, Joe. We saw a lot of 8s the last few months.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, got a 9 out of 10 at Shacknews, which is a great game. And yeah, if you're a fan of that series, this is like, you can't miss. I think this is a can't miss entry in the series.
I will definitely have to pick it up. I love Sam & Max.
Yeah, they're charming as hell, man. Those games are funny. Yeah.
I even watched the shit out of that cartoon series. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. And then this isn't a review, but we got a preview from Donovan. He's playing Visions of Mana, or Mana, depending on what part of the country you're from. Had some nice things to say about it. There is I believe there's a demo for this game that's out now that you can try.
I think so.
That's kind of cool. What do you think? Are you a fan of the Mana series, either of you?
Oh yeah, I love the Mana series. It's this has actually been one of my most anticipated games of this year. I've loved every little thing that we've seen about it so far, and Donovan's preview of it made me even more excited.
It's been quite a bit of a revival for the franchise, like the last decade. It seems like it's really kind of gained popularity again. It looks cool as hell. Yeah. Trials of Mana was dope as well, and the only thing that was going against it is that it launched, I think, right around the same time as Final Fantasy VII Remake. Yeah. It went up against a giant. I remember that much. Yeah, it was like either a month before or after. I do remember that. And we're like, Square, what are you doing? You knew this. So, and this is the first mainline story that they've had in the Mana series in like 20 years. Or maybe not 20, but like definitely at least a decade. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited for this game. I love the Mana games. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. That's like another good thing. That's like 4 good things in a row. This is weird. 2 Point Museum got announced from the 2 Point Studios devs. Yeah. That's good. New game. Guys, now you're in a museum. I think this is the tipping point. It looks bigger too, like than the 2 Point Hospital games. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like, if you like those business sim kind of games that they make, and obviously they have like a very huge sense of humor kind of dripping all over it. Yeah. This franchise, like I love this studio. They can't miss for me. I really like what they do. And this just looks like a larger, funnier, kind of like a night in the museum kind of take on what they got going on there. I got to do a preview of that one, and I got to do an interview with the devs. That's right. And they had a lot of fun stuff to say about it. Like this was an interesting opportunity for them. The campus game, I forgot that they did that completely during COVID. Yeah. And they claimed that like having to work remotely, it's just not a benefit to their team and the way that their team works. So being able to start 2 Point Museum together from the get-go felt like a much better situation as they're developing this game. That's awesome. And 2 Point Campus was still fun. But yeah, I'm sure they, there's things that they ran into during development that I'm sure it could have just been something as simple as just how long it takes to do something compared to when you're together. That's an interesting concept, because I saw this interview former CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, he said that Google is losing the AI race because they allow remote work. And I was like, that seems like a stretch, but he might, I don't know. I thought that was an interesting take.
I don't buy it.
I don't either. But I do think that there's something to be said about employees who have been at a company for 20 years who are all now multimillionaires just not caring. I think
that sounds right.
I think there's something going on at Google to that end. But yeah, the idea that work from home is why they're losing is I saw that, I don't know, there's a clip on social media and it was real. I'm gonna have to start saying that now. Hey, I saw something on social media and it was real. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Moving on. Another good story?
Yeah.
How about this? Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster reinvigorates a classic, says Donovan Erskine. Ton of quality of life improvements. This game just looks great. I'm excited.
Same.
I liked the original. Obviously it has its like warts on it now because what was it, like a 360 game or something? But
yeah.
I don't care. I'm gonna play this.
There's going to be a test for the game to pass for me. I love that game, but if I am on a call with Otis and a zombie knocks me and then Otis calls me back and says, "Why did you hang up?" I'm gonna take a point off that game because I hate when it did that in the original.
Okay. I still think it's weird they're calling it a deluxe remaster. It's a remake. Like, it's very much a remake.
Absolutely.
And remake is like a harder thing to achieve. You would think that they would boast that.
Yeah, I think it's just the game is goofy, so the name is goofy kind of thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
So that's where the good news ends. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or man, that Borderlands movie certainly came out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, in a sense, depending on where you stand, sometimes it's nice to see Randy take a hit like this, but maybe that's a little sardonic.
I mean, you're not on social media, right? So you haven't seen Randy Pitchford on Twitter for the past week.
I assume he's been insufferable, but you tell me.
Yes.
He put on a bandana and fought everyone.
He literally, he started blocking anyone who said negative things about it. And then he started unblocking journalists who called him out for blocking him or blocking them. He took it very personally.
Right.
I think his whole career is tied to this franchise. Mm-hmm. And even if the movie sucked, it's still a seminal moment for the creator of a franchise to see your work be brought to the silver screen.
Right.
So I think that's the thing that we're witnessing here is like he loves it. He thinks it's great. And he thinks people who don't think it's great are wrong. But what you can't deny is that the opening weekend only pulled in $16.5 million. And the movie production cost $115 million with $30 million in additional marketing. Have you seen any marketing for this movie?
I've seen a lot of YouTube trailers for it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I've seen, I think. Yeah.
I pay for YouTube Premium, so that's probably why I don't see it. That makes sense. This got, as of, I think this was Monday. Yeah, TJ, you wrote this. It had a 9% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes. Which is pretty god awful. I heard that Kevin Hart especially sucked in the movie, which is not that surprising. And I'm gonna just throw it out there. The Borderlands story was never good.
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, and you don't take a thing that doesn't have a strong story to start with and give it to a director like Eli Roth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but once I remembered that Eli Roth was the director for this movie, it all clicked.
Yeah.
He is not a good, pretty decent actor in a lot of occasions, has like maybe one or two movies that actually hit, but generally speaking, I feel like he's a bad director.
I'm blanking on what he's done.
Hostel.
Okay.
Green Inferno. He did the remake of Death Wish that everybody hated.
Weird track record to entrust your franchise with, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Is he involved in the Zelda movie? No. That's Avi Arad. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, okay. I hope not.
Okay, good. Sorry, I thought I saw someone talking about that. Anyway, it's a live action video game movie, so I thought of a better live action upcoming movie. But yeah, Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about that. I'm not surprised that it turned out this way. And this is the other side of the video game adaptation coin. Like we've seen a lot of successful adaptations, but for a very long time, this was the story, right? You would bring a game that probably shouldn't be a movie, make it a movie, and it doesn't do well, and your fans are pissed off. He did use this as an opportunity to basically confirm that they're working on Borderlands 4, but that already kind of came out when Gearbox got acquired by 2K recently. So yeah, no duh, they're making another Borderlands 4. And while I shout on the story, I do want to say that the weapon design in Borderlands is excellent. Like there are parts of the game that are awesome. I've just never given a fuck about the story. So yeah, making a movie out of it, I'm not surprised that this is the result. But you know, like
up to Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
My entire, very tangential. It's not like I've been personally following this thing, but like anytime I heard the Borderlands film pop up in the past, 5 years, it feels like it's always been, oh, here's Randy Pitchford trying to take selfies with famous Hollywood types and blast it on social media. And like, that's everything I've seen. It's just like him getting excited that he's meeting famous people. And it always kind of felt that like that was sort of like the angle here, and that there was really no movie to be made, but it was just an excuse for him to.
It was like we were all at Randy Pitchford's birthday party and there was nothing for us to do.
Yeah, there you go.
So I want to just quote Randy. Here's what he said on August 10th. And this is just not in reply to anyone. This is just his tweet. So what you're saying is you like what my friends and I do with our Borderlands video games even more than you like what some of the biggest and best cast and crew of filmmakers on the planet have done. I'm super flattered. We're working extra hard for you on what's next.
Wow, that's a glass half full kind of thought, I guess.
That was after just getting cooked for like 2 days straight. And then like he blocked, I don't want to call out specific journalists. He blocked a journalist and then like kind of attacked him for like a day. And then I don't know, it was very strange. Everything was very strange.
Yeah.
It's hard to leave Randy's name out of stories like this because of how forward he is. And so I can understand him taking comments personally, because I'm sure the journalist, even in good faith, mentioned him in an article or something, because Randy makes himself a part of this by being so vocal and forward and attaching himself to everything. So that's, he's choosing to do that.
Yeah. But like singling out a dude and then like after he blocked him and then unblocked him and then he quote tweeted, like this guy has like a pinned tweet and his pinned tweet is a book and he's like it was all very strange.
Yeah.
And yeah, none of that changes the fact that like, you can have all the best intentions in film and television and things can just flop for no reason, and I think there's a reason here, but I guess it's just kind of a lesson for him for how Hollywood works. Not everything's going to be Fallout on Prime or The Last of Us on HBO or the Mario movie or even the Sonic movie. You're going to have some Super Mario 1990 whatever movies in there. And this seems to be one of those, unfortunately. But yeah, like I hope he gets back to just doing what he does, good, like what he's good at. And I hope we don't get a second Borderlands movie, because holy crap. Ozzy saw it. He's the only person on staff that saw it, and it was because apparently he got like a $5 off his ticket from T-Mobile or something. Anyway, so yeah, moving into our last quickie. This story sucks, so sorry. Former YouTube CEO Susan, I don't know how to pronounce it. Wojcicki, I think is how you pronounce her last name.
I don't know.
I've heard Wojcicki.
Wojcicki? Really? Wojcicki? Okay.
Yeah.
However you pronounce that, she was the CEO of YouTube for 9 years. She stepped down last year as she was battling lung cancer. Her husband announced her death on Facebook. Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, tweeted out the following statement saying, unbelievably saddened by the loss of my dear friend, Susan. After 2 years of living with cancer, she is as core to the history of Google as anyone, and it's hard to imagine the world without her. She was an incredible person, leader, and friend who had a tremendous impact on the world, and I'm one of countless Googlers who is better for knowing her. We will miss her dearly. Our thoughts are with her family. R.I.P. Susan. And yeah, like, I know our headline said YouTube CEO. She had been a Googler for almost for the entire time the company existed, and had been a leader the entire time at various groups. Obviously, I thought, if you look at the last decade at YouTube, I think she did a very good job of growing the platform and understanding, various trends, be it streaming or vertical video, the introduction of premium. Obviously, not everything that YouTube does is great, but it's undeniably the largest video platform on the planet, and she had a lot to do with that.
I would like to correct myself really quick. Apparently, it's Wojcicki.
Wojcicki. I was closer.
Yeah.
Wojcicki. It's one of those names where it's like spelled one way and pronounced another way, which I'm not sure what her descent is, but yeah.
I think it's Polish.
Polish, most likely, right? Yeah. I'll rest in peace to her, and our hearts go out to her family. And she touched a lot of people at Google, so it's not just YouTube, but her relationship with YouTubers was pretty well documented. She was a pretty hands-on sort of person. She was very vocal. I don't know if anyone remembers, but there was a shooting at Google at YouTube headquarters not that long ago, and she did a great job leading after that, in the aftermath of that.
Oh.
Yeah, like YouTube had been under her, and even after her, YouTube has been one of the things that's like one of the biggest money makers for Google. Just
second largest money maker for Google, yeah.
And they have, even now, never shown any sign of, like, where certain parts of Google sometimes fail, YouTube has always continued to grow. Like, I don't think I've seen, in all of the quarters that we've covered, I don't think I've seen too much, if any, decline in YouTube.
I think the thing that people would push back on is the ads and their implementation of like an ad blocker. But yeah, I think the ads part of their business has been pretty bad and like aggressively bad at times. Outside of that, though, yeah, I think they've done a pretty good job.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the price of premium is kind of absurd. Yeah. So those are our quickies. Joe has introduced a new section.
Yep.
That's also trademarked, called Cherries. And it's not CHE, it's CHAIR, as in things you sit in.
Right.
I'm sitting down right now. But you know what I'm not sitting in? A next generation VR gaming chair.
Oh, tell us about it.
The Roto VR Explorer has been announced in partnership with Meta and Roto. This is a chair. Joe, I know you don't like VR because you get simulator sickness.
Sure.
But what if I put you in a VR headset and then I spun you around with a chair?
It sounds like I would be covered in my own projectile vomit within seconds.
Did you watch the trailer?
No, I was scared to. I'm getting hot flashes.
So and I'll say this, like, there are elements of innovation in this product. There's a reason I wrote this article. They have this thing called look and turn. So when you turn your head, the chair turns.
Wow.
So this is like, it's perfect for these games where they're using foveated rendering, right? So it's like you're only really seeing what's in your viewable area. So like if there's an enemy on your left, you have to turn left to see it. It'll move your body so you're facing that way. So your neck, I think your neck's gonna be in less pain playing this way, but it's not gonna work in every game. It's for 360 degree games. So I think some shooters will benefit from it. Like Super Hot, I think, would benefit from this. Although being standing in Super Hot's probably better.
What's the business case for making this product?
I don't know, because you're bringing up a really good point. This thing costs $799, and I was looking at how much like a fully loaded Oculus Quest costs, or Quest 3. This chair's more expensive than the VR headset it's designed to be an accessory for.
It even still sounds overly affordable, like it would be made of poor materials or something at that price. Like that doesn't
hard
seem
to say, right? Yeah,
like it has to have an engine that moves a large man at worst. For that price, that doesn't sound like enough.
Yeah, and like as someone with a bad back, the last thing on earth I want is a chair where it's just rumble. Like the whole chair is rumble. The back pads are rumble. The seat itself is rumble. I'm like, this would kill me.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad time.
I'm like, I don't want this at all. But I do think this is good for presence. It would be cool in like a spaceship game or something. But yeah, it's fully compatible with 400 games that are all on MetaQuest store. They claim it's a high quality leather seat, and the back supports are also leather.
I don't know.
I don't know either, man. But it's certainly a new chair.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that we broke the champagne bottle on Storytime Cherries with this, and I look forward to the next cherry.
I mean, I can tell you that Shacknews reviews chairs, so it's possible that there will be another chair story down the road.
Sure. I wasn't being facetious.
No, I me neither. I think that it's possible. I think it's possible, right?
Sure.
But yeah, well, TJ, you've reviewed some chairs, right?
I have.
It's not uncommon for us to talk chairs here.
Yep.
But this is a first for the podcast for sure.
Right.
Let's see. Oh yeah. So this is just kind of added in here at the end. This isn't really I guess this is a ranty, right?
Wow, a third section.
I know. You know what? Twitter's no longer Twitter. It's X or whatever. Twitter's really a shithole on the internet, and it's getting worse. I didn't think it was possible. Actually, I did. It's getting worse. Earlier this week, Elon Musk and Donald Trump held a conversation, not an interview, because Elon is not a journalist. Very clearly, I believe Donald Trump in a 1-hour conversation with Elon lied like over 25 times. Fact checkers said. He even he basically spouted off a bunch of climate change fallacies in front of the CEO of one of the largest electric vehicle companies, and Elon didn't correct him on any of it. So he got called out for that. It was a waste of time. Both of them chuckled about how they're union busters and they hate unions. The UAW actually is bringing a lawsuit against both of them for promoting TJ, you wrote the story. It's like
they claim that the comments they made about firing union workers for trying to organize constitutes intimidation and threats, which violates federal National Labor Relations Act rules. It'll remain to be seen if the NLRB feels the same, but basically enforces the National Relations or Labor Relations Act. Those are federal laws, and if they find that they constituted threats or intimidation against workers for trying to organize, then they could be in a lot of trouble.
One can only hope. So speaking of things that are going to get Elon Musk sued, let's talk about Grok. Do you know what Grok is, guys?
Just at a surface level.
I wish I didn't.
So basically, Grok is ChatGPT for Twitter, and it's trained on stuff, largely Twitter.
And how does it surface? Like where would I encounter it on the app?
It's on, like, I'm on the website right now. It's on the left. It's like home, explore, notifications, messages, Grok. Now, as an individual, I don't pay for YouTube Premium, so I don't get access to Grok. Grok is a paid, I want to point this out. It is a paid feature for X Premium users, right? What used to be Twitter Blue.
Okay.
You are paying to use this generative AI product. I want to hammer that in. You're paying. Nintendo, are you listening? They are paying to use a generative AI chatbot. Okay? They just shipped Grok 2 yesterday. And the thing that I noticed, and almost everyone else on the internet simultaneously noticed, all of the copyright protections that exist in OpenAI's ChatGPT 4.0 or whatever they're working on right now, none of them are present in Grok. So in the last day, quite literally the last day, I've seen an image of Donald Trump with an AK-47 in his hand, flying an airplane into the Twin Towers. I've seen gruesome images of Mario doing unspeakable things, killing people, doing horrible things. I saw Mario smoking a cigarette that looked like the cigarette was basically a butt. There was no actual cigarette there, and he was holding a beer, and the beer was smoking. So clearly it was like, create a picture of Mario on the beach drinking a beer and smoking a cigarette, and it came out with a beer that was literally smoking and a cigarette that was mainly a butt, and it was Mario, whatever. There was another image of Mickey Mouse and Mario fighting each other with lightsabers that was generated. I'm like, okay, well, this is a turducken of copyright infringement right here. Yeah, I think this could be the thing that actually kills Twitter, because he's clearly breaking laws and he's monetizing it. So he's going to be sued for financial damages. He's going to have to pull these things. He's going to have to retrain the AI or somehow block the AI from doing these things.
It wouldn't just be like a takedown claim, like a DMCA, where that he could
every
just like
single time.
Well, I mean, it's not sustainable, but I'm saying
no, because he's monetizing it, Joe.
Yeah.
If it was a free service, yeah, it's as simple as that. Because it's like, this is a user-generated content platform, and someone uploaded something that infringes on material. If the copyright holder asks, you have to remove it. That's the rules of the internet after the DMCA, right? What makes this different is he clearly is using them for training. And there's another lawsuit that is proceeding between, I don't know who the IP holder was, but Midjourney and a couple other image generation platforms are going to court over this very thing right now. So either Elon's just not paying attention to that news, or doesn't care, or thinks that what he'll get out of it is worth what he's doing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And all across the board, I just kind of think that he is being careless, not thoughtful about this. And I think this could end up killing his website. And I kind of hope it does.
I mean, at this point, he's facing 3 potential lawsuits in the span of 2 weeks between the UAW stuff, this copyright stuff with Grok, and also he and a whole bunch of transphobes slandered that one Algerian boxer in the Olympics, and they're facing a lawsuit for that.
And the European Union sent him a letter before the Trump conversation, saying that if he didn't fact check him, that they may ban Twitter from Europe. So that's why he pivoted to saying it was a conversation. See, I dropped a link in our Discord. Anderson versus Stability AI. The court is proceeding with that. So infringement claims against Stability AI, Runway, Midjourney, and DeviantArt will all go forward. Remember, DeviantArt pivoted to AI image generation also, and they're going to start using their images for training purposes. So, like, literally the week that this lawsuit went forward, Grok did even worse. Like, they went even harder into it. And Elon's like sitting here retweeting stuff. It's absurd. It's really an absurd, stupid thing that's going on. And yeah, I hope one of these, including the Algerian boxer, I hope one of these lawsuits actually sticks. But I also kind of hope what I think may happen here, and this may sound crazy because we're in this world of, billionaires getting away with everything. I think it's possible that regulators may force Elon to sell Twitter because he is endangering society with it.
And like brazenly.
Yeah. But I think that's coming, where they may force him to sell it. You know how they're like compelling TikTok to sell?
Yeah.
I think that could happen here too. And I think this Grok thing is kind of at the center of it. So please, please, Nintendo, if you're out there, sue the ever-living fuck out of Elon Musk. And all of the hatred that everyone has had for Nintendo lawyers will disappear in a second. Because talk about the greatest face turn ever, right? That they could become a hero here, Nintendo lawyers.
That's
the
an
meme
easy
of the
route.
Nintendo ninjas, that they could be the heroes that save us.
For sure.
I implore you, Nintendo. I know you listen to this podcast and you listen all the way to the end. Doug Bowser, what's up? But like, do it. Not just for Shacknews. Do it for the entire internet, man. Like, do it for your own intellectual property. Do it for the future of intellectual property. Do it for the future of the internet. Because we're going down a very dark path right now with AI. And it is unregulated, and the regulators are being paid off by the same companies that are profiting from this. But I really think that the fact that Grok is not free is going to be the thing that fucks them. That you're attaching payment to this. And that you are not paying the people that you're training the data on. And also, we wrote a guide on this. You can turn off Grok's ability to train on your content. And I did that when I came back last year to Twitter. But Yeah, so none of the weather report will be used in the training of this bullshit. But you just think about how many people tweet random pictures of Mario or videos of Mario over the years. There's a ton of information on Twitter that they probably have agreed to the terms of service of, and that's where shit gets messy, Joe, to your point. How do you prove that this was an intentional infringing of the copyright?
Right.
And also Elon Musk just unfollowed the Rick and Morty account, apparently.
Wow.
So yeah. Anyway, that was a little bit of a rant. I'm sick of that platform, and it's not very useful anymore.
No.
And if I keep seeing disgusting imagery when I load up my app, I'm gonna stop using it altogether. I'll post 2 things a day: the weather report and the Bubbletron solution, and that'll be it. Because I don't want to. It's like a jump scare now when you open the app. Like the For You tab, TJ, it's like hate speech and violence. Like, I don't like seeing violence on my feed. And that thing is it's sensationalist bullshit.
And that's not even including the fact that they put in jump scares on videos where if you make it to the end of the video, it doesn't start over. It just goes to a randomized new video and you have no idea what you're going to get and you have no control over it.
Mm-hmm. They're starting to throw ads in there too.
Gross.
It's not that surprising. So yeah, we did it. Those are all the stories. How about that? We have some community notes. And Joe, you actually missed it because you don't read the chatty, because you're someone who works for Shacknews. But there was actually a thread about what podcast people listen to. So you can, we got a few questions and comments from the Shacknews community, which you can join by heading over to shacknews.com/chatty or by emailing us at tj.denzer@shacknews.com. Someone asked, what podcast do you listen to? And we got a couple of people who listened to our podcast that replied.
That's great.
Good.
Quasar said, the new Shacknews podcast is pretty good, with an exclamation point.
That's so nice.
Evil Danish said, Shack Together, with 2 exclamation points.
All right.
To which Meltralgia said, Asif's playing F-099 again? And Danish replied, gasping audience sounds. So thank you to the people who mentioned I should mention Metralgia earlier in that thread also mentioned that they listened to Shack Together. So yeah, several of our listeners gave us some love in that thread. So shout out.
That's great. Thanks everyone. Go rate us 5 stars while you're at it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, while you're over there. And then over on YouTube, because we post this podcast to our YouTube channel as well. Haas Mamu, who had to determine the winner, said, Rutro, I have too much power to decide winner. Then he went on to say, I enjoy when Joe plays the game. Joe wins. Stink on you, Asif and Donovan.
So good.
And I like to think, and I actually spoke to him about this, I like to think the only reason you won, Joe, is that you took the Master Sword.
Whatever means, we don't need to debate why I won or how I won, but I'll take the victory.
But we gave the authority to Haas Mama to determine the winner last week of the Zelda draft. If you missed it, you should go back and listen. But yeah, Joe, I think the Master Sword is what tilted it for you.
You're probably right.
So that's it. Please keep the notes coming. And yeah, if you listened this far into the podcast, you clearly like what we're doing here. So go give us a thumbs up, a follow, a like, a subscription, send us flowers or cookies or whatever.
Yeah. And thank you to Doug Bowser while we're here.
Yeah, shout out Doug Bowser. We're still trying to figure out what you do.
Yep.
That'll do it. That's going to do it for today's show. Subscribe on your podcast app of choice. Shout out Doug Bowser. And tune in every Friday for more Shack Together. Even though we told you last week that we weren't doing this episode, we did.
Yeah.
For unforeseen outcomes and circumstances that we don't want to get into. But thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you, TJ, for joining the Shacknews Extended Podcast Universe, or the SIPU, as the kids call it. Is it on the ticker? Are they still calling it that, Joe?
Hold on, it's mid-sentence right now. I'm just reading it.
It's still printing.
Okay.
Yeah?
It says that the language on the ticker says they're becoming weary of calling it that acronym, but they do indeed still use the acronym.
They still acknowledge the Shacknews Extended Podcast Universe, but they're getting tired of calling it the SIPU.
That's right. And there is apparently Gen Alpha and Gen Z is cooking a new terminology that's going to be spicier and hipper than what we have now.
It's going to be like Riz Shack.
Riz Shack hasn't launched yet, so SIPU is still in the zeitgeist.
But yeah, the Riz Shack Extended Podcast Universe. or the Shacknews extended Riz. I don't know.
We don't know. It hasn't launched yet.
Figure it out. Go on the TikTok and you guys figure it out and let us know.
That's right. Yeah.
But that's it. We did it.
That's it.
We did the show. This is where
Thank
we
you,
wave at
TJ.
the camera that's not on and we say, I'll never forget you and I love you. Bye.
Thank you for having me on, as always.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for all that great QuakeCon coverage. And yeah, if you haven't, go read TJ's impressions of Doom the Dark Ages on the front page of Shacknews.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That'll do it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Later.
Production.
Shacknews is a multimedia company consisting of a variety of entertainment properties, including Shacknews.com, video game and cutting-edge technology coverage with evergreen video, guide, and long-read content, providing readers and viewers with the latest reviews, previews, interviews, and news. Shacknews content is readable and viewable at Shacknews.com, Facebook, YouTube at Shacknews, Shacknews Interviews, and Shacknews VODs, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Shacknews Media, Twitch, and more. But that's not all. You can play Bubbletron, our first video game. Combine 3 ideas, hit the market, and get your money hat. Bubbletron is a daily game in the style of Wordle, where players can launch a company and see its valuation instantly. Hit that high score and brag to your friends. Visit Bubbletron.com to play. There is no download required, no signups required. But if you are into app downloads, we have the cutest one on the planet. It's called Shack Pets, the ultimate battle for cuteness. Swipe your pets to victory on iOS and Android in this Tinder-like app for pets. Shacknews is proud to present a variety of micro products, all available for free at Shacknews.com. Cortex is a publishing platform available to all of our users. Shouts is a Twitter replacement in a time where Twitter really needs replacing. And Reader, an RSS reader that won't get shut down by Google anytime soon. You can import YouTube, subreddits, all sorts of cool stuff, even podcast feeds. And lastly, all of our products are completely free to use and play, so if you're a fan of what we're doing and want to support the Shacknews ecosystem, head over to shacknews.com/Mercury. Mercury offers subscribers access to exclusive Shacknews swag like hoodies and VIP access to our long reads in downloadable format. It's a great way to support us. There's different tiers, and you get a lightning bolt next to your name.